Good morning, my walking warriors, and I hope this finds you doing okay today. I hope this shows that you are safe and staying comfortable in this dry heat, or if you're in Oregon, staying comfortable in the cloudy weather that's already been raining so far this morning. So I thought today I would do something a little bit different and talk about the news that's going on in the world today. I did some research on ABC News for world reports, and then I also went a little bit local with my hometown of Yakima, Washington, and did some research through the Yakima Herald, and I'd like to share with you some of the articles that I found. First off, today marks the day of the 76th year anniversary of the Hiroshima atomic bombing on August 6, which killed 140,000 people and destroyed their city. 140,000 people. Just take that all in for a moment. Can you imagine being a child or a young adult and having your city bombed and it killing 140,000 people? I can't even begin to fathom the idea of this. On August 9th, 3 days later, they then dropped a second bomb on Nagasaki, killing another 70,000 people. Because of all this, Japan surrendered on August 15th, ending World War II and nearly half a century conflict and aggression that Japan did in Asia. So 140,000 people in Hiroshima, and in Nagasaki there was another 70,000 lives lost. That's a lot of lives, people. But we were in the middle of World War II, and this was after they bombed us. But in retaliation, this is why I don't like war. So many people's lives are lost. This war that we've been fighting since September 11th has been going on, and I don't even know the numbers of how many lives of American soldiers we've lost. Not to mention the American lives that we lost on that dreadful day in 2011, or 2001, I'm sorry. But 140,000 people and 70,000 people. In other news, 10 passengers were stabbed on a commuter train in Tokyo on Friday, which I believe was today, Friday. One passenger was seriously injured. 9 out of 10 were taken to a nearby hospital, and the 10th walked away with only minor injuries. Passengers were rushing off the train cars, screaming for first aid kits and towels to help the victims. More than a dozen ambulances were called and showed up to the scene to carry passengers to the hospital. And it happened in, and I'm pardoned for this, I know I'm going to butcher this name, Seijogakuin, Japan. This is all during the taking place of the Tokyo Olympics. So imagine you're an American citizen and you go to the Tokyo Olympics to cheer on Team USA, and all of a sudden you hear about this passenger train having all these stabbings. That would really scare me. I don't know what I would do if I was part of that. Part of the people cheering on the Team USA, and you go to Tokyo expecting a pleasant experience and you find out this happened. I definitely wouldn't be getting on any commuter trains, that's for sure. In fact, I'd probably be leery of public transportation to begin with hearing all this. In Yakima local news, Schneider Springs fire grows to 4,000 acres near Bumping Lake, and they're currently evacuating the Nile area and Bumping Lake. I grew up in Yakima, Washington, which is just outside the Nile, so this is really scary for me. Though I find it kind of ironic that it's named Schneider Springs, considering my last name is Schneider, but this is really scary to me to know that they're evacuating the Nile, which isn't that far from Yakima at all, trying to get people away from the fires, and homes are going to be lost, animals are going to be lost, wildlife is going to be lost, beautiful forest greenery is going to be lost, and it's all started from lightning. This is Mother Nature's pretty much way of saying F you. You like your beautiful forest land? Well, guess what? One strike of lightning can take care of that, and that scares me too. I can't imagine living that close to these fires and having to evacuate my family home, knowing that it could possibly be taken down at any moments. Just the fact that they have to evacuate these homes is quite frankly very serious, very dangerous, and very scary. I know a lot of people that I went to high school with lived in the Nile, and they would have problems during the winter where snow would completely compact on their roofs, and they would have to get out there and shovel snow off the roofs of their home. Then when it came springtime, when all the snow melted, there would be flooding. A lot of people had to leave their homes due to flooding. They had a lot of flood damage to their houses, especially in 2006, when there was a huge snowfall. Just in Yakima alone, we had like 6 feet of snow in our front yard, and I can't begin to imagine living in this area when the snow started to melt, because it flooded terribly. It took out a bridge. I was actually standing on the edge of this bridge on the road, and all of a sudden I felt the earth like shake, and I took a big step back on the cross section behind the bridge, and the bridge actually collapsed in front of me into the lake, or river, not the lake, into the river. And if I would have just have continued to walk out on that bridge, I actually could have gone down into the river and potentially been hurt severely bad, if not worse. So it's a scary thing. Mother Nature is a very scary thing. And just the fact that you're having to constantly deal with all these issues going on, it's a scary thing. Certain areas to live in. It definitely is. So now they have to evacuate their homes. All that wildlife is going to have to find a place to go. They generally run for the highest parts of the mountains when forest fires break out, and hopefully they can find some safety wherever they tend to go to. I would hate to find out that we lost like elk and deer and bears, and there's mountain lions and cougars. I would hate to find out that we lost a whole bunch of the wildlife life because of these fires that was set by Mother Nature. COVID cases are on the rise and has skyrocketed in the last few days. Masks and vaccines are recommended as cases surge. Yakima has one of the highest COVID case count in Washington state. And there's a lot of people that still don't believe in wearing masks. Come on, folks. You need to wear a mask. Keep yourself protected. Get your vaccines. I'm totally pro-vaccine, and I'm not here to preach at you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I respect your thoughts. I respect your opinions. If you don't want to get the vaccine, that's perfectly fine. That's up to you. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, you take it with a grain of salt, however you want to take it. Get vaccinated. Save people's lives. Save your life. This could potentially be the only difference between you being just mildly ill and you being in the hospital on life support. So get vaccinated. I got vaccinated. My husband got vaccinated. Both of our children, all of our children, except for our oldest son, got vaccinated. Our oldest son really wishes he was vaccinated because he did end up getting COVID and he did get very sick. He didn't end up in the hospital sick, but he was very sick for about 2 weeks. He was vomiting, and he had a fever and coughing and had a runny nose, and he just was miserable. His wife got COVID and she had to go into the hospital due to complications with her diabetes. And it's a very dangerous thing. I really worry about my son and my daughter-in-law. I'm very glad that my middle son and his husband got vaccinated. I'm glad that I got my other 2 children vaccinated. And I'm glad that my husband and I are vaccinated, because it could be the difference between just being mildly ill with the sniffles and just feeling like you have a really nasty cold and having to go to the hospital and be in the hospital. There are complications if you get COVID that there hasn't been with just, say, the regular flu, and that is you could end up with no taste and no smell, all the way to heart problems for the rest of your life. You could deal with memory problems for the rest of your life. They're finding that there's a lot of neurological problems that come up with having COVID. There's a lot of lasting effects on your body, and it's not worth it. Just get the vaccine. It's free. Wear your mask. You know, I know masks cost money, but isn't it better to spend a few bucks on a couple masks and wear them out in public and keep your social distancing of 6 feet or further apart from somebody than it is to end up with COVID and be potentially put on life support? I mean, it's a huge drastic difference. My really good friend right now thinks that she may have COVID, and I'm petrified for her. I am very scared that she might have COVID, because she woke up this morning just feeling terrible, and she went to the doctor and had a COVID test, and it'll take a couple business days to get that COVID test back. It's a scary thought to having COVID. So just keep yourself protected. Get vaccinated if you so choose. Like I said, it's free. If you can't find it, there are websites. Vaccinefinder.com, I believe, is one of them, where you can sign up. That's how we did it. We did Vaccinefinder for .oregon.com. And as soon as a vaccine became available, we jumped on it and we went in and immediately got vaccinated as soon as we could. There are a lot of pharmacies that offer walk-in clinics now for vaccines. You just walk in and tell them, hey, I want to get vaccinated for COVID, and they'll have you take a seat and you wait. They'll call your name. You go up there, fill out some mild paperwork asking if you've ever been allergic to any further or any previous vaccinations, if you're allergic to certain ingredients in the vaccinations, and then they'll sit you down, give you the vaccination, have you wait 15 minutes to make sure you don't have an allergic reaction to it, and bing, bang, boom, you're done. It's really that simple. You go back in two to 3 weeks to get your second vaccine, or I guess it's 3 to 4 weeks for the second vaccine, and once you receive that, 2 weeks later, you are fully vaccinated. These vaccines are anywhere from 95 to 98% effective. I had the Moderna vaccine. My husband had the Moderna. Our children had Pfizer. My middle son had Moderna. His husband had Moderna. My mother had Pfizer. And the one vaccine I wouldn't suggest getting is the Johnson & Johnson, but that's only because I personally have heard scary things, side effects that can happen with Johnson & Johnson, and I wouldn't suggest it for any of my family members. So, yeah, just think about yourself, think about your families. Think about if you want your family to see what you're going through as far as not getting vaccinated, and do you want your family members to see you suffer? That's how I think about it. So yeah, COVID cases on a surge in Yakima County. Lastly, what I want to talk about today, and I think I'm going to do an entire podcast dedicated to just this subject and just this subject only. This came from Yakima Herald Republic, who's doing a investigative report on it, and I feel that it's a great subject to look into because it quite frankly is a scary subject to look into. There are currently 32 unsolved cases involving indigenous women of the Yakama Indian Tribe, with only 2 solved. Out of these 32, there are 13 unsolved homicides, 7 mysterious deaths, 5 missing persons, 3 that are in court right now, and 3 closed cases. How scary is that? 13 unsolved homicides on an Indian tribe, and an Indian tribe, sorry, bad grammar. 7 mysterious deaths, 5 missing persons. These are all scary things to think about. I was looking through some of the cases, and these are beautiful, beautiful women that had their whole lives in front of them. They were in the prime of their life. They were just murdered for some unknown reason. They just disappeared for some unknown reason. They 3 cases have been closed. 3 out of 32. That leaves 29 cases that they don't know what's going on with. 3 are in court, so I guess that leaves 26 cases that they don't know what's going on with. 3 are currently in court proceedings to try to figure out and try to get some sort of closure and justice, if I can talk today, for these families. Yakima Herald is doing a great job researching into this, and I would also love to do a podcast in regards to this. This case is baffling, and it's scary, and it needs to have some sort of closure and some sort of justice for the family members that are going through trying to figure out what happened to their loved ones or why it happened to their loved ones. That's basically what it boils down to, is what happened, why did it happen, And what's going to happen from this point on? Are they going to get justice for their family members? Are they going to fight in court to figure out why this happened? Are they going to take it to court even to try to get justice for the families of the missing loved ones, or the loved ones that have been mysteriously killed? These are all things that people need to look into. And this is an indigenous Indian tribe. This is the Yakama Indian Tribe. This Yakama Nation is a huge tribal land. It goes from Yakima, the town of Yakima, spelled differently. The town of Yakima is spelled Yakima. The Indian tribe is spelled Yakama. But it goes from the city of Yakima all the way to Oregon. Imagine how big this tribal land is. And tribal police are very serious. They want these crimes solved. They want to be able to say, we found the murderer of your loved one, or we found your loved one, regardless if it's good news or bad. They want to be able to find some closure for these families. They want to be able to do what they can for these families to make sure that these families feel justice. And the only way they can do that is if they can solve these murders. Now, I am going to do a podcast on these murders and on this case here shortly. I can't guarantee what day it will be. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of research, but I will be doing a podcast on this, and I will tell you a little bit about each victim and as much as I can learn about the happenstance as to what happened with them. So keep an eye out for that podcast. And I hope today's podcast was fairly interesting for you. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it and don't like me doing world news and local Yakima news, hit the dislike button. You can tell me what you liked or you didn't like down in the comments section below, and we will try to figure out what you guys would like to listen to. If you have an idea for a show idea for me, put that in the comment section and I will definitely do it. If there's something that you would like more information on, put that in the comment section as well. I would like to do more podcasts like trying to figure out what's going on with the case, like the missing indigenous Yakima Native tribe females, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, if you're not yet subscribed to me, hit the subscribe button. I'm here every other day to try to lighten your day, brighten it, bring more awareness to you. And I'm also here to do daily check-ins, not daily check-ins, but every other day check-ins to see how you're doing. So how are you doing? How's your walking going? I personally have walked about 26 miles in the last 3 days. So not as much as I would like, but it's just been so hot. That's my only excuse. It's just been so hot. So I've kind of been laxed on my walking. Normally I do 10 to 15 miles a day, but with the heat index being as hot as it's just been impossible to get that many miles in a day. So, but how are you doing? How many steps or how many miles have you done in the last few days? How are you feeling health-wise? Are you feeling good? Have you discussed with your doctor about whether or not walking is the right thing for you to do? Because remember my disclaimer, before you start a workout program of even walking, discuss it with your doctor first to make sure it's a right fit for you. And what else do I say in my check-in, folks? I know there's something else I say in my check-ins. I'm just drawing a blank right now. But anywho, I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there. Keep cool with this heat that's been going on and on and on and on this summer. At least it's not like it was a month ago where it was 115 degrees in Hillsboro, Oregon, which it never gets above like 95 normally during the middle of summer. But it's been unseasonably hot here. So keep safe, keep cool. Be very careful of your surroundings. And I will see you in 2 days' time. So peace out. Have a great day. And I will talk to you later. Bye.